There are four adjustments low stakes poker players never make, and it makes soft games harder than they need to be. I have been a winning poker pro for 7 straight years, and this is one of the biggest reasons I can sit in these games and find profitable spots over and over again. In this video, I am going to break down exactly what these adjustments are and how you can use them to start winning more money today. The first adjustment shows up in a spot that feels like a standard top pair decision. This happens all the time in a 1-3 or a 2-5 game. You raise pre-flop with ace queen of spades in middle position, get called by a passive player in the big blind, and the flop comes queen 8-4 rainbow. They check and you put out a bet and they call. The turn is a 6 and it brings in a backdoor flush draw. They check and you bet again. After a couple of seconds, they check raise the turn. This is where most players start talking themselves into a call. They say, I have top pair, top kicker. They can have a draw. They might be making a move, or I do not want to get pushed around. But this is the exact adjustment low stakes players miss. You are not just playing your hand, you are also playing against this person. If this player has been passive all night, calling a lot, checking too much, and never putting money in aggressively without a real hand, then the turn check raise is not some random attack. It is usually just strength. This is where players burn money because they treat every opponent like they are capable of balanced aggression when this is not true. A lot of low stakes players are not sitting there thinking, this is a good turn card for my range, so I am going to apply pressure. They are thinking, I have a big hand and now I want more money in the pot. That is why this spot is so important. Your hand may look strong at first, but against this specific player, it becomes a hand you need to slow down with. Here is the adjustment. Stop paying off passive players, especially when they finally show real strength. You do not need to find a perfect hero call or prove you cannot be bluffed. You need to understand what this player is telling you. Most of the time, they just have it. You can make better decisions in these exact low stakes spots with my free guide, the Low Stakes Poker Blueprint, by scanning this QR code. It gives you the 100 rules I use to win for 7 straight years. You can also receive it by clicking the pinned comment in this video. The next adjustment is one of the easiest ways to make an easy table feel tough. You sit down at a table and there is a player who has already called 3 streets with second pair. They limp and call too much pre-flop and do not like folding once they connect with any piece of the board. Then you get into a hand with them, bet the flop and the turn, and decide this is a good board to bluff when the river comes. It's a scary card and you think, this should be a good card for me. So you fire again. Then they call with one pair and you get mad because you believe they are terrible. But they did exactly what they have been doing all session. The adjustment is understanding they will not suddenly fold. Calling too much is their leak. You were trying to make money by targeting the one thing they do not do. This is why the low stakes adjustments matter so much. A bluff can look good on paper and still be horrible against the wrong person. If someone hates folding pairs, stop trying to make them fold. You are not going to win more money by telling a beautiful story to someone who is not listening. They are not sitting there thinking about your range. They are looking at their hand and deciding whether they like it enough to continue. And when they decide they do like what they see, they are calling. Try to bluff the players who have shown they can fold and who are uncomfortable putting money in without a strong hand. The third adjustment looks safe in the moment, but it quietly costs you money over and over again. Let's say you get dealt king-queen suited in middle position, you raise pre-flop, and get called by a weaker player in the big blind. The board is going to come king 9-7 rainbow, the turn is a 3 of spades, and the river is the 2 of clubs. Make believe you bet the flop and bet the turn, and now are check 2 on the river. You think for a second and check back saying, I do not know what worse hands can call. This is where the adjustment needs to happen by value betting the players who are showing you they want to call. Against the player who calls too much, you are leaving money on the table. Low stakes poker players love saying, if I bet, only better hands can call. That is just not true against a lot of the people you are playing against in your games. In this spot, they will call with a worse pair of kings no matter what the kicker is, and they even call with 9x for second pair. People will also call because they do not believe you and are curious about what hand you have. You need to stop assuming every player is thinking as clearly as you are. Some players are not asking what worse hands do they value bet. They are asking, do I want to fold this hand? And a lot of the time, they do not. When you fire the triple barrel here on the river, it is an adjustment being made against the player who calls too much. Most low stakes players are worried about doing this, and that is not the way to go about it. You cannot miss the river bet by being afraid of a small amount of better hands. Instead, start thinking about all the worst hands that can call. For more low stakes rules like this, scan this QR code to grab my free guide, The Low Stakes Poker Blueprint. You will receive the 100 rules I used to win for 7 straight years. You can also receive it by clicking the link in the pinned comment. The next adjustment is the most important one. Most low stakes poker players learn a couple of new moves, but the problem is they use it against everyone in their games. This is not how you should go about it. Think about knowing who you are in the hand with before you choose the plan. The same hand can be a bet against one player, a check against another player, and a fold against someone else. Let's say you raise pre-flop with ace-jack suited from the button and the big blind calls. The flop comes jack-7 deuce rainbow, and the turn comes the 9 of clubs. I want you to assume you c-bet the flop, they called, and we are now on the turn. Against a player who calls too much with worse jacks, second pair, and draws, you are probably looking to bet again. Against a passive player who finds the check raise on the turn, you need to take it seriously. If it's a tighter player who hates calling without strong hands, maybe you do not get 3 streets of value. It may be the same board and hand, but it is against a different player. This will lead us into different decisions overall. This is the adjustment most players miss. They want one answer or one rule to cover a bunch of different scenarios. The adjustment is understanding the type of opponent you are up against. You need to ask yourself this one question: what adjustments should we make against this specific player to generate the most money? You have to remember you are not playing against the same people in every game you play. Taking the time to think about this during your hand will keep you from trying to make fancy plays against the wrong people. You need to look at the person in front of you and determine the decisions that would be most profitable based on their previous actions. This is the low stakes adjustment most players never make. They keep thinking the answer is better cards or one perfect strategy. Fortunately, in these games, a lot of your money comes from making the simple adjustment right in front of you. If you can do that, low stakes poker starts to feel a lot easier because you are no longer fighting the game. You are attacking the leaks everyone at the table are showing you. Beginners lose at live poker because they do not know which spots are costing them money. Watch this next video so you can learn what they are.